Good morning from the Galilee. Today I just went past where I was yesterday, Beit Shean, Mount Gilboa. To my right, the security fence right here is the border with Jordan. If we were to go up north, which I'm not going to make it up that far today, but we would be actually could be on the border of Syria, the border of Lebanon, very, very easily. This is one of my favorite drives. It's really fun when you're sitting in the jump seat of a bus, but we're going to be going up. I just left the south shore of the Galilee. Give you a view of that later on, but for now we're heading up onto the Golan Heights. Again, Jordan on the right hand side. Jordan has been the most peaceful border with Israel for many years, but things can change. Things change very quickly in Israel, and we don't know.
Take a sharp left turn.
Okay, from one moment to the next. Keep in mind, sorry about the directions you might be hearing in the background on my phone, but I have to be able to actually know where I'm going. So, hello, I'm going this way. All right.
In 7 miles, turn left onto Jadot Jiva.
That's where we're going. The Golan Heights. History from 1948, the establishment of the current nation of Israel. Of course, Israel is 3,500 years old. 48, or from 1948 till now, young, however many years that is. I'm exhausted from yesterday, which was exhaustion from the day before and the day before, so I'm not going to be doing math as I'm driving. But from 1948 through 1967, this was actually under Syrian control. The Golan Heights is a fascinating place. It has been contested through the years. This was back in the days of Ehud Barak. He actually was trying to make peace deals, so-called peace deals, to give away. And this goes back to Rabin, this goes back to others that tried to give away this land for peace, which is kind of a mantra in Israel that is very much the definition of insanity. Let's try to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. You're looking again over into Jordan. Get up there a little close, maybe. See? Okay. The mantra of let's give away land. Well, how's that working today? What's the results of giving away the area of Gush Katif in Gaza? And what happens 15 years, 20 years later? Well, here we are in the midst of a war. Still, to this day, over 50 hostages are being held. Not really sure how many of them are alive today. So this doesn't work. Well, in 1967, Israel took back this section of land. It is strategic for Israel to control this land for a number of different reasons. First of all, security, which you're going to see a little later when I get up to a specific spot. You'll be able to look out and consider that the security nature of this. You can, let's say America has had this thing with the border. If you don't have a border, you really need a buffer zone of a border. You can't just put up a fence right where the border is. You have to have a little bit of a buffer zone when you're talk about rockets coming over a border. So Israel, without the Golan Heights, is trying to protect such large communities as Tiberius, right on the other shore of the Galilee, from right here, which you'll see later is next to impossible. A rocket siren goes off and you literally are, unless you're in the bomb shelter, you're not safe. So this gives a little bit of a buffer zone of anything that may happen between Jordan and Israel, between Syria and between Lebanon. Number two, agriculture. This is a very unique place in that it's all volcanic. Now there's no active volcanoes that I know today, but you will see basalt, the rocks, the black rock of this area, which is all volcanic. This allows for a rich soil here. You start planting and things grow. The number three is water. The most valuable thing in the Middle East, well, in the desert, in a desert region, my ears are popping. The most valuable thing in a desert region is not oil, it is water. People will give gallons and gallons of oil and gas to get a drink of water. And so this is the area in which you have Mount Hermon, which is there's the snowpack there, comes down to a place called Banyas, which in the gospel writings would be known as the gates of hell. Banyas was a place of paganism. It was a place in which this basalt, this volcanic rock, is like a sponge. So the snowmelt from Mount Hermon goes in the ground. It comes up at Banyas, which is one of the headwaters of the Jordon River. All right, you can see here on the right some concrete blocks. This is all left over from the time of Assyria. These can be drugged back very fast. Why leave them there? Well, you never know. You might need to use them at some point in time. So water is one of the, really, I think the main, well, in the top three, it's in the top three. The security, of course, food and water. Those are three things that come from this area. It's a very beautiful area, known as the Golan is known as Bashan. So when you read in the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible, it talks about the fat cows of Bashan. We might see a couple here and there today. Again, it's very green. Even yesterday on Mount Gilboa, it was starting the Gilboa irises are only out for a short amount of time, so of course we're right there, but we're at the end of the season. You can already see down in the Jordan River Valley the turning of of color from green to more of a brown. The trees on the left here, trees are not really, I don't really know what kind those are, but you can see I think this is alfalfa on the right hand side. I'll be driving around along just a few more minutes up here, and I'm just gonna leave the camera on so you can see the vast lands. Both sides are this alfalfa. The joke is that this is where Israel grows all these rocks. You see the field on the right hand side that is ready to be planted. This is not what it looks like when you start. It's rock land. You've got to go in and clear the rocks. Well, because this area here has some frost, it has cold weather. I've been up here and it's been in snow. That actually causes the rocks to come up to the top. So you can clear an area one year and come back the next year and have to clear out rocks again. The tour guides thing is, on a clear day you can see, well, it's clearing. This is not smog. This is a haze of humidity in the air right here. See the farming that's happening on both sides of the road. So we're going to go up to a place and hopefully it's going to clear out a little bit. If it does, we'll be able to see the Galilee, the complete Galilee in front of us. We'll see when we get there. Well, on a clear day, it's not quite totally clear, but I'm going to take it because I've been up here many times where you couldn't even see the Galilee because of all the haze. The Sea of Galilee, the Kinneret. The reason it's called the Kinneret is because it is shaped like the harp of David. Now, of course, in the King James, it says the Sea of Galilee. This was really my first experience of thinking, wait a minute, somebody has duped me here, because I was in a bus back in 1998 coming down the mountains right over there in front of us, and I looked out and I said, that's not a sea, that's a lake. And it's not really a big one compared to where I'm from. It's actually about 7 miles across, about 14 miles from north to south. And but the Hebrew word yom, there's not a word for lake versus sea. That's how that came about. So the Kinneret. All right, let's do a tour here. I'm standing up at the Peace Outlook on the western shore of the Kinneret. Down below me to the south is where I just drove in from. Down just past the ridge there, and I'm hoping you can see this fairly well. Past that ridge coming down, that would be Beit Shean. On the other side of that, Mount Gilboa. We come up here into the center, and this would be the mouth of the Jordon River as it's coming out of the Kinneret, coming on around. This would be Poria Elite, which is little Poria. It's a town. It's a beautiful place. On around again, I'm going to stay on the other side of the Kinneret from where I am right now in my tour. Tiberius is the city that you see across. I'm not sure at this point exactly where I'm going to be heading to, so may go through there, maybe not. If we went back just a little bit to the south and look over, would be Nazareth. All right, so back to Tiberius. Let's go on up, and you can see where the lake has a bit of a projection out there on the north end of Tiberius. And then another town in the distance that is Migdal, or it would be referred to as Magdala. This would also be the area of Ginosar, very famous kibbutz community. Ginosar is where the ancient boat was found 2,000 years ago. All right, here's where we look at what is called the evangelical triangle. Now, I know that this is in the distance a little bit. I'm having a hard time seeing the camera because, okay, maybe that's a little bit better because of the haze, and it's really bright up here today. If we were to be able to see all the way out in the distance, that would be Mount Hermon. That would be Lebanon. Over past to the west is Syria, Qunetra. But now the bare spot, kind of that little brownish area that you see hopefully right in front of us, that is Sfat or Safed. Many believe that is the place that is talked about in the Gospels, a city set on a hill. It's one of two places that I would say is the possibility. Now, where we're looking at, again, I can't see in my viewfinder here or my on my screen, so just hopefully bear with me. Just to the left of all this, we see the Arbel Cliff. Now, okay, Arbel back over there. All right, that cliff coming down right over the edge into Magdala. But where the that next cliff is out there, just to draw an imaginary line there, and then right in that area there, draw another imaginary line. Most of the Gospels happened right there. We have, there's one of the, I don't know if it's a fat cow, but it's a cow. There's a dairy farm or meat farm, I think it's dairy down there. Okay, back on track. So much goes on here. It's hard to keep it all in focus. But so we have Capernaum. We have the place of the feeding of the 5,000. We have the place of Peter with the fish. We have the record of walking on water, Yeshua walking on the water there. All of that happened, all of those things happened right in between those two areas that I'm showing you. The aspect of that it says that Yeshua got in a boat and he went to the other side. Now that's not going from Tiberius to, in a few moments we'll see, in Gev. But that means that they went to the other side of where the Jordon River comes into the Galilee. So on the right-hand side, this would be to the west, the western shore of the Galilee, also Gamla up in that area. This would also be the area, one of the Decapolis cities, like Beit Shean, where is recorded about the demonic man from my exhaustion's kicking in here. The Gadarenes, there you go, the Gadarenes, and the pigs, the demonic, the demons are put into the pigs and they run down into the Galilee. All right, so all of that happened in that area. Let's come up to more modern. This city right here, town up here, right here, is En Gev. Beautiful place. You see a road that's going along right there in front of that farm. That's the tarps. You see a couple of boats. One's a jet ski out there. Somebody's on a jet ski. Another one is looks like a tour boat coming out of En Gev. So you see that road that's going along there. That was the 1967 border. So prior to from 1948, 1967, Israel is in the land, their control of Tiberius, their control of En Gev. But they found out after 1967 that the Syrians were sitting here right in the spot. From here and on down to the base, they were sitting there on those hilltops with binoculars, and they were watching every move that was going on there. As after 1967, there was a video that was done, and a lady said on there, she says, they will never see what is not for their eyes again. So the importance of this land, how would you like it if your sworn enemy, an enemy that is sworn over and over again to kill you, if your neighbor decides to give them, rent a room to them, and that room is overlooking your house, and they can watch you night and day, how would that make you feel? How would that make you feel if you didn't know it and then all of a sudden found out? That's the reality of this place. So this is called the Peace Outlook. I'm not really sure. I'd have to check in with others of why it's called the Peace Outlook. To me, it's this, that the only way to have peace in this land is to hold the land. We saw that at Harbor Kai, Mount of Blessing. I saw that at Itamar as they're expanding the town again with fruit trees, with building, with the chicken coops, with vineyards. It is about holding on to land. And as Udi so well said the other day, that was his army post. Here in this place, if you don't hold the land, if you don't keep your feet, as Joshua was told, wherever you put your feet, wherever your footsteps, I will give you that land. Well, the continuation of that is that where your footsteps are, you must then keep your feet, the presence of your feet in that place. Because if at any time you vacate the place that God has given to you, the enemy will come in and seek to take over, to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Now, was I just talking about our own lives, or was I talking about the land of Israel? Or is the answer yes? I think you know. All right, I'm going to head out to the next place. We'll see where that is. Well, we're off the Golan Heights, and I'm heading down toward Tiberius, and took the road that is kind of halfway point here, north-south, a little bit more toward the north of the Galilee. Beautiful drive. You have another windy road down here. It just said dangerous curve, so oh well. That's where it's fun. I took a few pictures of, I think those are peach trees that were in bloom. There were rows and rows and rows. A little bit about the agriculture here. Israel was at one time the leading producer of the Jaffa orange. And what they've changed through these years, looking at the market became flooded with Jaffa oranges. So they've gone into nectarines, apricots, lemons, various citrus, bananas. They actually can now produce 3 crops of bananas per year, which is unheard of in other places. This is all something that Israel has done. I'm trying to get my camera there. They also produce square watermelons. That's just hilarious. Why a square watermelon? Because when you export it, if it's square, it fits into, they're grown in little boxes, and you don't have all that wasted space. So how's that for economics? Much of the hydroponic, aquaponic, greenhouse, computerized greenhouses, a lot of that was invented here in Israel. The greenhouses were in Gush Katif, and the tragedy is that a group of leftists purchased those greenhouses in order to give to the Gazans, the Arabs there, the Hamas, which is now Hamas, and they came in and destroyed it. So it's not about land. It's not about keeping land. It is about not allowing the Jews to have the land, which is about the covenant. Okay. The various agriculture here, they actually grow colored cotton. Why would you want to grow colored cotton? I know a man that was a part of that many years ago, and a lot of people are allergic to the dyes that are put into cotton to make it colored. So they grow a green, yellow, and a blue, I believe it is, much technology comes out of Israel. The very phone that I'm recording this on right now, technology is from Israel. The computer industry, security industry, all of those things. That's in Tel Aviv, of course, in the city. I'll probably take a little bit of a video tomorrow morning as I'm driving down Highway 6 to the airport. I have a flight out tomorrow, late morning. So I have to be down there. If we went to the right, would be a very favorite place, which would, I gotta go the other way, which is Katzrin. I have my camera, or I have my GPS off, so you don't have to hear that. And of course, I wasn't looking exactly where I was at and missed a turn. I have found that I've always thought my Hebrew was really bad until I started using Apple Maps. Her Hebrew is even worse. It's terrible. So it made me feel a little bit better. Katzrin there's a Talmudic village that they have, there was an archaeological dig there. Found a synagogue, houses. It's now a place you can go and you can tour and see what it was like to live in the time period of 2,000 years ago. From there is going up to Mount Bental, which is on the border of Syria. Been up there many times, looking over into Syria. From there we could go to, as I said, to Banyas and Kiryat Shimona. Kiryat Shimona was in the news constantly during the Hezbollah rocket fire. It is estimated, last time that I heard, it is estimated that Hezbollah has somewhere in excess, I think, of 150,000 rockets that are still available. The life here is this razor edge. We're leaving the Golan. This life goes on, yet you never know what the next moment will bring. This is an area outside of, just across the Kinneret from the Galilee. They had, during the Hezbollah rocket attacks, there were so many alerts in this area. So I'm coming down into the Galilee, and we go down here. This is Ofra. I'm going to go back the other way. I just made a command decision here that I'm going to go the other way around the north of the Galilee. So turn the camera off for a moment, a little bit, and pick it up when I get back up there. I think I'm going to be able to give you a little bit better view, a better tour of the area by doing that. Now, this is one of the most beautiful drives all through here. This is the north of the Galilee. We're going to be going down, and you can see the Galilee in just a moment. Trees, orchards being planted all over. I forgot to mention the dates. Israel has an overwhelming production of dates in this, all in the Jordon River Valley, down toward the Dead Sea. As you can see on the sign, we're going to be taking a right, going down toward Tiberius, actually going into Tiberius. But there's one thing that we have to do before we get there, and that is we have to cross the Jordon River. We'll be coming up pretty soon. This is the area we're above Capernaum. Above us here would be of like the Sea of Galilee, just a lake. Jordon River, more like a creek. But this is a very significant and a very beautiful area here. I'm going to get a little bit closer to Tiberius and join you again. Just past Ginosar. Look at the Gospels, Mark chapter 6, I believe. You'll see some story about that. In front of us, the Arbel Cliff. Many times on the Connect Israel tour, which I haven't talked about a lot on this, but one of the reasons I'm here is to talk to various places that we go, the people there, hotels, everything else I need to deal with. So it looks like at this point in time, unless something drastically changes, that the Israel tour is, Connect Israel tour is on for sometime late October, early November, not really sure when. So we just passed Magdala. I should, anybody that's read any of the gospel accounts, Magdala should stand out, but it's the town of Migdal. We're actually, this area here is the area of Migdal. We're on the northwest corner of the Kinneret, the Galilee. Remember, as I was over on the Peace Vista, I pointed out the Arbel Cliff. And I pointed out for you. Time anybody's asking about gas, about $8 or 8 shekels per liter. So figure that out. Liter, 3.8 liters in a gallon. Shekel is about 3.6 right now, I think, to the dollar. Comes out somewhere, I think somewhere around $8 a gallon. The next time you're at a gas station, it's $3. Just consider what they've been paying here, and they've been paying this for as long as I can remember. I'm complaining now that like a Whopper meal, combo meal, goes for $10. I remember in '98 when I was here, going to the Jerusalem Mall, spending $8.50 and thinking, wow, that's an incredible amount of money for a Whopper. It is better here than it is there. Not just because it's Israel, but I can actually tell you that McDonald's is totally different when you're outside the United States than when you're in. We're along the Galilee. Might get a little bit more of a view here along the way. We're going to go down into the city of Tiberius. Tiberius is a very historical town in Judaism after the destruction of the temple in 70. Much of Judaism, some of Judaism, I would say it like that. Tiberius became kind of the center. The Jerusalem Talmud, actually written here. Many very famous rabbis of the centuries are buried in Tiberius. These are eucalyptus trees that are, you can see on both the right and left. The eucalyptus is a very important tree in Israel. A couple of things have happened regarding the eucalyptus. One is that when Israel was, when they began to go into the swampy areas, like the Hura Valley, there was a lot of malaria because of mosquitoes. So one of the ways to drain that was to plant eucalyptus trees. The other is a famous story of a man named Eli Cohen. Won't go into the whole story. Eli Cohen was an Egyptian-born Jew and was very instrumental prior to 1967 in the victory in that war. There's a book, a very small book, Our Man in Damascus, that if you want to read a little bit about Eli Cohen. More on the wine that I said victory, so I got to talk about that. The wine from Tura, 2,000 bottles only of Tura wine, and it's numbered. You can go to their website. It was on one of my previous videos, and order the victory wine if you'd like. There's not enough. It's not bottled. There's not enough bottles of it for them to really ship to like kosherwine.com and various ones. So it is a very limited edition and can only be shipped from Torah Winery, which of course the price is really out there. But it is a statement and a collector's item. And the statement is that we may have victory soon. All right, again, let's see. I'm going to do this. Okay. Across, that's where we were just a little earlier in the day. Okay. Drove up right straight ahead of us, pretty much straight ahead is where I drove up the windy road. And we enter into the town of Tiberius. I'll turn the camera off. I'm actually going to go down the other end of town. That's what my plan is, and come back up. It's a beautiful drive. If I would have gone about another half a mile, I think, we would have gone all the way around the Sea of Galilee, the Kinneret today. We're coming in from the south, Tiberius. I was hoping the bougainvillea were blooming. This is one of the most beautiful drives right here when the bougainvillea are in bloom. Not quite. Give it another couple of weeks. I've been seeing it more on the Golan, but not down here yet. There is a water park. Okay, Tiberius is a recreation place. I don't know how many people I talked to while I was here that said, yeah, our children just went up to Galilee for a few days to take a little bit of a break. So there is a water park. This is an area, there's hot springs here. We'll see Guy Beach on the right. There's a number of hot springs. People come up here for therapeutic. There's a lot of therapy, okay, not just horse farm. There's more than one horse farm, by the way, or horse ranch, more appropriate in English, that is therapy. And besides just Ruti and Kaim. Now, of course, that's kind of my favorite. But there's a number of them in this in Israel. There's also down the Dead Sea. There is a lot of therapy that goes on there because of the minerals in the water. Up here, it is the hot springs, and this war, the current war, okay, that has been going on since October 7th of 2023. Israel has put out the numbers. The number of soldiers killed in this war is very low compared to other wars. What is not being reported in most places is that the number of injured is way up. Leonardo Club here, numerous of these hotels. To get back into English a little bit, I've stayed at, brought our tours here. We don't stay any longer in Tiberius itself. It's not really the greatest experience, in my opinion. Tiberius, there's a lot of issues in this town. A lot of poverty. This town was hit very hard during the Intifada, and really I don't feel ever recovered from that time. So soldiers are sent here, sent to the Dead Sea, various places for the hot springs, for the mineral water, and so there's a lot of people. I heard a story last night of someone that had gone to the airport, and there was a person who met someone there. They didn't really, nobody really figured out what was going on until this man saw this woman and just kind of grabbed her by the arm and held her arm up and was spinning her, helping to spin her around. And then they noticed that she was missing one leg. She was one of the IDF soldiers that had been injured in the war. And that's just, that's one of literally now thousands of stories that are going on. Well, the Golden Arches, McDonald's, everything else is here. And I need to make some turns, get up toward my hotel, the Kibbutz Levi. I do one more short video as I'm heading up there, and then I've got some packing time. Try to figure out how in the world I can make about 55 pounds look like 50 pounds to the airlines tomorrow. So until then, I have about maybe 4 or 5 minutes before I get to the hotel, the turnoff there. One of the most frustrating things for me in doing these tours that I've done now a number of times is trying to capture the beauty of Israel. It's like going down the highway, some interstate in the United States, and trying to explain what's around you. You can see, I've kind of turned the camera to the right a little bit there, but you can see the beauty of the hills in front of me. Traffic coming this way toward Tiberius, but it's not possible. I was Leah yesterday reminded me of something that I said to her I think last year or the year before. It's not possible to take a picture of Israel. It is not possible to take a photograph of Israel. Okay, yeah, I got video, I'm posting pictures, got that. But for me, every time I go back and I look over those pictures, it's just, they're empty. It does not, there's no way to capture the atmosphere of this land. It is at every turn charged with history, charged with the present battle, and charged with what is going to be the future of this land. This will one day, I believe, as I open up the scripture, this is today the center of the earth, and the battles that are being raged are over that. One day it says that all nations, go back to Isaiah chapter 2, all nations shall come. It says the Torah will go forth from Jerusalem, the mount, the word from Mount Zion. But the verses before that talk about all nations coming here. In the book of Zechariah, I know the pictures here are just, I got bushes, but I'm trying to give you all that I can. Hopefully we'll break out of that in just a moment. But all nations will come. There will be a temple on the Harabite, the Temple Mount. What is that going to look like? I don't really know. I just know that it says that it's going to be, and so I believe it because I trust the one who gave us that word is faithful and is able to fulfill his promises. When I opened the scripture for myself back, 39 29 years ago almost, the reason that I knew that book was true, I'd been told it was, yeah, got it. My mother, my grandmother, my Vacation Bible School, they all told me it was true, but it was never true for me until that day. And I looked at my wife and said, the reason I know this book is true is because there are Jews living in Israel. The nation of Israel being reestablished in our day is a statement that his word is true, that we can count on him. He is faithful to perform that which he said. So I'm going to be heading to my hotel tonight, the Kibbutz Levi, and trying to, as I said, figure out a way to make 55 pounds or so way out at 50. Be leaving early in the morning, planning to do a video either on the way to the airport or when I get there. So thank you to everyone who has followed along, posted comments and likes and shares and all of those things. I guess if we were on tour together, I would be asking you about this time. So what was your favorite place? What was your favorite place along the way? And for me, if I was asked that question, I would probably say yes, because they're all favorite places. Until tomorrow.